And now, Bob Elliott and Ray Goulding present the CBS Radio Network. Well, hi again, everybody. And, ladies and gentlemen, Bob has sanctioned the auditioning of Bob Elliott substitutes next week, but we've decided that it's of more immediate concern in as much as
because I may want to take the weekend off.
Plus the fact that we had to tell, what was his name, the old writer? Chester Hasbrook Frisbee, was it?
Yes.
To clear the scene because he was Dullsville Incorporated, you remember, and we had to fill the time somehow. Bob,
yes.
Are there any specifics that we should look for in one of your substitutes?
Well, I think probably one of the primary factors is an ability to chat with the audience.
That's something you do.
Bring out some interesting things from them. And we only have one contender today.
It's all right. We'll bring him out in just a few seconds. You recall Dennis Howard is Ray's, or my substitute. He was on here just a few days ago.
A very good one, too, Dennis, if you're listening.
I hope. Oh, well, I guess he is. All right. Well, the first auditionee as a substitute for Bob Elliott, please come out and sign in, please.
Very nice-looking chap. Looks quite a bit like me.
I don't know if you could hear him sign in on the blackboard. What was your name, sir?
Victor Bruce Cowan.
Victor Bruce Cowan. Well, Victor...
you call me Bruce if you'd like.
All right.
Most everybody does.
Whatever you prefer, Bruce. The first thing I would suggest is that...
I'd like to meet Bob.
Huh?
I'd like to meet Bob.
Yeah. Just a second. I'll introduce you to Bob. Don't worry. Bruce, the first thing I should caution you is this. Sport clothes is not
order of the day?
What's the other term they use in social circles?
De rigueur, yes.
For the Bob and Ray show. It's strictly a business suit, a button-down collar.
Well, I didn't know until 3 o'clock today that I was going to be here for this audition this evening, or I would have... I was wearing what I came in town with.
Holy cow, you sound like Bob.
Doesn't he, huh?
Yeah. Bob, I'd like you to meet Victor Bruce Cowan. He'd prefer to be called Bruce.
Bruce, how are you? Fine, Bob, and I'd just like to say it's a real treat to meet you. Well, it's a pleasure for me to meet you, too.
Let's get along with the audition, because people will think they have an echo. You sound so much alike.
I could go out in the control room and let you want to do the show today? Who, me? Yeah.
I tell you, Bob, rather than have you leave the studio... why don't we test him by sending him down into the audience?
That's a good idea, because
that's what you do best.
What I do the best is bring out interesting things about them.
That's your long suit. So, Bruce Cowan, take this hand microphone, please. Go down to the audience and let's see how you do it.
Thank you, Dennis Howard. Friends, this is Bruce Cowan.
Wait a minute, Bruce. I'm Ray Goulding.
Oh.
Dennis Howard isn't here now.
Right.
Okay.
I have the audience microphone here, and as Bob would say, I'm going to try and find some interesting people to chat with, people with unusual stories, maybe from unusual places, who do unusual things. And I see a very distinguished gentleman right here in the front row, sir. I wonder if I could have your name, please, and a few words of chatter from you.
Thomas Jefferson.
That's a coincidence, because we had a great American by that name at one time.
I like to think that you still have a great American by that name, and me.
Well, I'm not referring to your...
I didn't write any constitution, or I didn't found any university, or did I do any designing, or anything like that. But, boy, when you question my patriotism, I could punch you right in the nose.
Ray? Ray?
Yeah? Come up here a second.
Yeah.
Come up here, Bruce. Now, there was
I ran into a little trouble. I don't know if you heard what went on. I picked a gentleman who looked very distinguished,
right.
And they told me his name was Thomas Jefferson.
Well, now, see, there's the first, that is the first thing you should do.
Bob, what would you have done in that case? Well, Bruce,
just a second,
if it were
let
me...
explain it to
all right.
please, because they're only going to be confused with you talking.
Yeah.
The mistake you made is this, Bruce. You should size up the audience.
Well, I did.
Before you put a live microphone in front of anybody's mouth, make sure they're not nuts.
Well, granted, I thought that he was...
or loaded. I mean, you never know.
He looked distinguished.
I did it. You see the gray hairs in my head? That's from doing a man on the street show and not checking the people I was going to talk to first. So
Yeah, you'll have to get Ray to tell you about that someday, Bruce. He really ran into some funny things there.
Those gray hairs were put there by people I talked to on the street with a live microphone before the days of tape and pre-recorded and augmented. What?
Ray, this is Bob.
Yes. Okay, now, go on back there.
I think I've looked them over a little bit better.
You got a hold of an obvious wackadola the last time, so be very careful now when you go out. Remember, this is an audition that could be very important to you.
Okay, well, watch this.
Your whole life may be changed if you become Bob Elliott's live substitute.
Oh, I know that.
Okay.
I know it's something to shoot for. I'm going back about halfway through the Bob and Ray audience now to a gentleman that I've had my eye on since he came into the studio just before we went on the air. And he is right here on the aisle. If I could just get this microphone wire down. Sir, could I ask you your name, please?
I, Charles Dickens, sitting here with you as you wait for me to take up these books of mine, one by one, and turn their leaves so you may listen to me.
I didn't see the
I'm
books.
conscious of a strange feeling.
Yes.
That it was in just such a little room as this
that
I first took up my pen to write these books.
Well, we wanted to find...
in my mind's eye, all of you, as you would one day be sitting there reading them.
We wanted to ask you a few questions.
My horizons have expanded prodigiously. I have traveled as an actor of my own works over the world, from garish lights to garish lights.
What do you think's the most...
of people to more thousands.
Unusual place?
The roar when I took the stage almost frightened me until... as I stood there about to turn over the first page,
Ray?
They became a
Ray.
Yes,
Could I come up on the stage a minute?
Yeah, come on.
Thousands upon thronging thousands.
Boy, I don't know whether it's just your luck
Boy, you get some real doozies in your audience.
That was Bob speaking. Look, Bruce.
No, that was Bruce. That was me.
Oh.
See, I hit another one there.
Oh. Well, look, Bruce, another mistake you made. That fella who said he was Charles Dickens was an obvious wackadola, too. You know.
No, it was Charles Dickens, but he just talked and talked and talked. I couldn't stop him, you know.
He
had the books there. It wasn't?
No. Look, it's 1960, and when you see a fella dressed with a collar like that and a tie and shoes like that, you've got...
Well, I did notice that.
You've got to figure you're in for a troublesome interview. I don't know as to...
I just couldn't get a word in edgewise there.
I tell you what, I'm going to do...
Yeah.
Maybe we'll send you back to the audience, but before we do...
Could I try just once more?
No. I want you to try a commercial for us.
All right.
See how you do a commercial. Then after that, we'll let you try once more in the audience. Okay?
Friends?
No.
Do you suffer?
No, wait a second. First, there is this, and then you come in.
Oh.
Okay?
You introduce me.
Right. Now, let's see. Do we have that commercial set up? We're looking... No, all right. Well, try...
What do you do when they don't have it set up? Well, that's something they didn't tell me, you know.
Well, Phil, describe the studio or something important that happened to you as you drove in. Maybe you were passing over a drawbridge, or...
Well, as a matter of fact, when I...
Sorry, you don't have time to hear that interesting
I'll tell
story.
You sometime. I haven't practiced those for quite a while.
Yeah. All right, well, now we'll give you one more chance. Down into the audience. Now, let's see you do it.
All right, I have the Bob and Ray audience microphone in my hand now, and for a change, I'm going to see if I can find a lady who will be interesting. And, ma'am, whoever you may turn out to be, please try and answer my questions so that at least I can make a good showing in this audition. You have a kindly face, ma'am. I wonder if I could just chat with you, please.
Oh, my thistle cat was wonderful.
Oh, we're off.
His name was Thistle Blossom, and he named himself.
He named
because his fur was so soft, like that of the purple part of a thistle blossom.
Thistle blossom.
His little fingernails were like the prickers around the
Well, they're wonderful little pets.
And he got so that he knew everything.
Sure. Well,
he could do all sorts of things, and he could almost talk.
They're wise sometimes.
Thistle was a wonderful little cat.
Yeah.
He knew so much. He had better table manners than the majority of children.
Well,
I taught him to eat slowly.
And he did, huh?
When he's a little kitten, I just let him take one piece of meat at a time.
One at a time.
And I'd tell him to chew it well. And I'd make my jaws go as though I was chewing.
Good for the digestion.
He learned what I meant.
Sure.
He'd stop chewing. If I said, all right, he'd swallow it.
Well,
if I said chew it some more, he'd chew it some more.
What if any dog...
And he could take the tin cover off a jelly glass.
Oh, that's hard to believe.
He'd paw it with his right paw, and tip over the glass, then put his left paw on to hold it.
Well.
And then he would claw it.
Yeah.
He got the cover off.
Well,
then he'd look up at me and smile.
I'll bet there is some
He'd
interesting...
curl the corners of his mouth up and back when he'd smile.
Kind of laugh at you.
And he knew waltz when he heard it on the radio.
Really? He could dance
He'd put
to
his
music?
paw on my foot and sit down in front of me. That meant pick me up.
Oh, yeah,
So
well...
I'd pick him up and waltz around the room, holding my arms. They'd jiggle me like that.
I love animals. I had a...
And Cecil died
Oh, I'm sorry. I bet you're still broken up about that.
March 12th. I think it was 11th, 1929.
Come up here, Bruce. Look,
I don't know if she was through. I think she was.
I tell you this, you had terrible luck, but your voice is so similar to Bob's.
I think we ought to sign him on, Ray.
I think so.
It's the better part of a bad thing.
You really had an unfortunate tussle with the Bob and Ray audience, but
I
believe
did,
me.
but there are other things I can do, and would you like to hear me do Walter Brennan?
No. But that's a typical Bob and Ray audience out there today, and thank you for helping very much. And Charles Dickens, you were great.
Thank you,
Not to mention
Ray.
you, Tom Jefferson. And we'll be back with something to say in just 10 seconds.
And what are we going to say in just 10 seconds?
Trying to keep the good thought. Until tomorrow, or Monday, I should say. Have a nice weekend. This is Ray Goulding reminding you to write if you get work.
Bob Elliott reminding you to hang by your thumb.